Start with Ms. Morton. She has 2 or 3, maybe 4.
3 and concurrences.
And then we're going to go to Council Foxworth. And we have to end at 3:30, so please begin.
Do you want to start with concurrences or bills?
Sure.
Concurrence, so the first concurrence I have is this is Senate Bill 64, Beach Erosion Control District, State and City-Owned Structures. This is Senator Carrozza's bill, which exempts the repair, renovation, reconstruction, or limited expansion of specified structures in the Beach Erosion Control District from a prohibition against land clearing. The House amendments strike obsolete language, creating an exemption for boardwalk widening and make technical changes. The amendments conform the bill to House Bill 1300 as passed by this committee, so the committee should concur if we want to keep them identical.
Second. First of all, are we streaming?
Yes.
We good? Okay, anybody object to the concurrence? Seeing none, we concur. Next.
All right. Senate Bill 698, Alcoholic Beverages, Maryland Alcohol Manufacturing and Promotion. This is Senator Zucker's bill. It establishes the Advisory Commission on Maryland Alcohol Manufacturing and the Maryland Alcohol Manufacturing Promotion Fund in the Department of Commerce. The House amendments correct a technical error in the bill. As amended, the bill is identical to House Bill 854 as unanimously passed by the Senate. So again, concurring would be appropriate.
Moved. Seconded. Anybody object to concurring with the small amendment? And they will fix the Senate bill?
This is the Senate.
Oh, that is the Senate bill, sorry.
We already fixed the House bill.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Okay, so moving on to the voting list. This is House Bill 318, Delegate Stein, Environment On-Site Wastewater Services Regulation. This is the bill that establishes the State Board of On-Site Wastewater Professionals as a unit within the Maryland Department of the Environment to regulate and license individuals who provide on-site wastewater services in the state. The department must adopt implementing regulations in consultation with the board by July 1st, 2025.
I'll entertain a motion. Or not. It's been moved. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion or amendments? Senator Carrozza.
I know we had some conversation the last time we considered this about some of the concerns that the county environmental officers had, and I didn't know, Senator Lamb, if you were moving an amendment.
Yeah, thank you. So I did a little bit more research and found that I think in a lot of these boards, a lot of them are actually put into Department of Labor and DOL for these licensing boards. A lot of licensing boards are comprised of folks that are of the profession that they're, reviewing and regulating. And so, in that sense, this is not that much different than some of the other boards, although this one's obviously an MDE. So I don't have any more concerns about it.
Further discussion?
Mr. Chair, we did never move the Senate bill.
Was that yours? Yes. Okay, we can move both. I don't know what'll happen, but any further discussion? Anybody wish to be recorded in the negative on 318? We have a full contingent. It's 11-0. That'll go to the floor, and we'll use the same vote on the cross-file SB 479. That'll be moved as well.
And that'll be favorable with amendments to conform it.
Correct. Next.
Yep. Charles County Natural Resources Sunday Hunting. This bill expands Sunday hunting in Charles County by authorizing the Department of Natural Resources to allow a person in Charles County to hunt any game bird or mammal on each Sunday during the open season for that game bird or mammal. We were holding this for a Senate delegation letter, but that has been received. It would amend.
Hold
yeah.
on. Senator, we good with it?
Yes, we're good.
Okay.
So this bill will have your amendment for
That's
For-
the only way it sees the floor, yes.
Okay, okay.
That's where,
Well, I'm in agreement, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah, committee council, we need to move the amendment. Any objection to the 30 minutes past sunrise to 10:30 amendment? Seeing no objection to that, the bill's amended is before you. Senator,
I just want to make sure we do the same thing to the crosswalk.
are there two?
There's a Senate Bill 388.
Okay, thank you. We'll do the same to the House bill and the Senate bill. Any objection? Seeing none, both bills will be reported to the floor as amended. Okay,
Final one of my bills on this list, House Bill 1057, it's on the back of the voting list. Prince George's County Recreation Blue Ribbon Work Group, PG 406-22. This emergency bill establishes the Prince George's County Recreation Blue Ribbon Work Group for the purpose of conducting a study and providing recommendations to the Prince George's County Council regarding several aspects of providing recreational services in the county. Work group recommendations are due to the county council by April 11, 2023. We have a letter.
Senator, you want to call for a motion or not?
I move favor.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded favorable on 1057, which I'm looking for. Okay, okay. I know what it does. Debate on this recreation work group. Seeing none, anybody wish to be recorded in opposition? Seeing none, the bill will be reported as 11-0 to the floor. You done? Or you? Earth, over to you. Let's start from the top if you don't mind, unless you want to start somewhere else.
Okay, we can start at the top. So House Bill 528, Town of Williamsport, Washington County, Urban Renewal for Blight Clearance. So this bill authorizes the Town of Williamsport to perform urban renewal projects, which include redevelopment projects for the removal of blight through eminent domain. It establishes the types of projects that qualify as urban renewal and outlines standards for conducting hearings to notify the public about the urban renewal projects. We do have a delegation letter for this bill. No amendments.
Any objection? Okay, 528 will go to the floor, unanimous 11-0. Before I forget, since we're talking about housing, is there anything new on what's happened to the Heddleman bill?
We do have a concurrence motion on that.
Okay,
And
we'll let
so-
you keep rolling, we'll come back to that.
Okay. So House Bill 5, well, it may make sense to do House Bill 543, which does the exact same thing for another town. I don't know if you want to skip that or come back to it.
I think they're controversial.
Okay.
543, I assume the same people will move in second. Any debate or discussion on 543? We have a letter, I assume?
We do.
Okay, assuming it's not controversial, 543 will go to the floor, 11-0, unanimous on that bill. Please continue.
House Bill 535, Washington Suburban Transit Commission, Montgomery County and Prince George's County Commissioners, repeal of term limits. We do have two local letters for this bill, which remove the term limits currently set at 2 consecutive terms for the Montgomery County representative and for one Prince George's County member of the Washington Suburban Commission. So instead of being limited to those 2 consecutive terms, those limitations will be repealed. We do, yep.
Any discussion, debate? Seeing none and seeing no objection, we will record 535 as unanimous to go to the floor.
House Bill 625, Commission to Study the Healthcare Workforce Crisis in Maryland Establishment. We moved to concur with the Senate changes earlier in the week. This is the commission to establish the study of the workforce shortage in Maryland. We also have amendments by Senator Washington to make those conforming changes on this bill to the Senate bill as concurred. The changes modified the membership of the commission to include representatives from the longitudinal data center, and created a focus on the commission to study foreign-born healthcare practitioners.
So this morning, did we concur on the Senate bill?
So we voted to concur. I'm not sure if the concur calendar has been brought up, though.
I think, I lose track.
Oh, so
but-
we did. We moved to concur. I don't think it was today. I think it was early in the week.
Okay.
We moved to concur.
Okay, well, right. Senator Washington is moving, we amend it. Oh,
Amending the Kelly to be, so that they're all this, that it's the same.
Right, so
Okay,
that
great.
the House bill is in alignment with the
Yes,
Senate bill
great.
as we move to concur with earlier in the week.
Very good.
it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? We are conforming it to the Senate bill. That is 625. Any objection? Seeing none, 625, I'm sorry. Yeah, 625. We'll go to the floor. Conformed. Okay,
House Bill 878, Howard County Department of Housing and Community Development Housing Opportunities Trust Fund. This bill establishes a Housing Opportunities Trust Fund in Howard County for the purpose of promoting affordable housing within the county and to provide for financial assistance for affordable housing. It requires that at least 50% of the fund revenue of the trust fund go towards households that do not make more than 50% of the median income, and requires a yearly report to local and state delegations representing Howard County.
the bill, if you recall, where there was a little bit of disagreement. The county executive and the county government supports the bill, and at least one council member opposes it. That ring a bell, folks? Okay. Senator Hester.
Well, I'd like to obviously move favorable on the bill. And I was able to talk with another member of the council, and I really think it's a one council person issue.
Light on, any discussion? So the motion is favorable, and it's been seconded. Anybody wish to be recorded in the negative? Sold. 11-0-878 will go to the floor unanimously. Okay, 927.
Okay, so it may make sense to do the concurrence on this one, since there are a couple of gaps. So House Bill 920, I'll start with the concurrence. So we moved to receive a concurrence request on Senate Bill 744, which is a cross-file to House Bill 927. So this is Housing and Community Development, Affordable Housing, Listing and Disposal of Excess Real Property. So as a reminder, the bill in both forms required the Department of Housing and Community Development, after it receives its, regular notice of excess properties maintained by the Department of Planning, to determine if the properties can be used as affordable housing. So the House amended it thusly. So in the version that we sent over, the transfer of funds were going to the rental housing fund. All of the proceeds were going to the rental housing fund. That has been stricken, and the funds will go as established under current law, which is to the bond annuity fund. The amendments require the Department of Housing and Community Development to notify the state treasurer of the list that they receive from each unit of government. The treasurer is then to make a determination of whether the transfer, the disposal of the property will impact the bond rating. Removes the authority for the units of state governments to lease the property, so now they'll only be able to either donate or sell the properties. Changes the definition of affordable housing to be aligned with the comprehensive master plans at the local level. So the metrics now, it'll be based on the area income, which has to be below 60%, versus under the bill that we passed, it had to be 30% of monthly income. It adds additional considerations that a unit has to consider under the definition of affordable housing. And it changes a yearly report for the Department of Planning by requiring a simple notice of the properties to be disposed of, and that has to be sent to the Department of Housing and Community Development.
Ms. Foxworth, go back to the definition for a moment. I thought I first heard you say it's leaving it up to the county definition, and then I thought I heard you say there was a percentage number. So I don't know if, they might not be mutually exclusive, but I'm trying to understand which definition for affordable housing are we looking at?
So under ours, it was 30% of the income of that individual. Now, under the House bill or the Senate bill as amended in the House, it has to conform to the area median income, and it cannot be more than 60% of that. And workforce housing is included in that definition, and workforce housing is a term that is incorporated within the local government master plan on how they determine how affordable housing is identified. But instead of it being the metrics of the person to not make 30% of their rent, it has to be the individual has to be measured up against the median income of that particular area. So it's a county by county
So it's 60% of the general median income
of that area,
of the population.
in that area, locality.
Okay. Do we know by chance, not that it matters, but do we know if the Senate sponsor has worked on this or is signing off on it?
So the Senate sponsor wants to have the two identical, as I understand. And so in order to do that, we'd have to make some changes to the House bill.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
On the concurrence. And then we'll have to do another for the actual bill, because we'll need other amendments adopted to conform the two based off of what we do with the concurrence.
Okay. The concurrence is on the Senate bill then.
The concurrence is on the Senate bill.
Okay. Is there a motion? It's moved and seconded. So we are concurring on the amendments to the Senate bill, which will have us necessitate conforming the House bill to the same. So anybody object to concurring on 744? Saying not, we have a concurrence support. And if that's the attitude of the committee, we should conform, the motion is to conform 927 to match the Senate bill that we've just concurred to.
Right.
I assume that's been moved, it's been seconded. Discussion. Saying people supported the first one, then 927 will go to the floor with a unanimous as amended.
House Bill 969, State Board of Dental Examiners Training and Disciplinary Processes Revisions. This bill is a cross-file to Senate Bill 611. Essentially, it codified various disciplinary procedures for the State Board of Dental Examiners and modified training requirements. This bill is in almost an identical posture to Senate Bill 611, minus a technical amendment that has been adopted on the Senate side. So if we move the House bill in its current posture, we would be in total alignment with the Senate version, but we couldn't place this on the consent calendar because of that technical fix, which has been resolved on the Senate side.
We have one technical amendment to 969.
There are technical amendments to the cross-file. So we can adopt it and move it in its current posture because it's going to be resolved on the Senate side.
Okay. The motion is 969 as it came in, clean. Seconded, moved and seconded. Discussion. I don't see a lot of controversy or red lights going on. 969 is approved, 11-0. So we're, 611 was a concurrence, or we've been sitting on it?
We've been sitting on the cross-file.
I'm sorry?
We've been sitting on the cross-file. I don't recall whether or not, actually, we did. We concurred with it
So
last week.
we don't need any action on it?
We don't.
Okay. Next. Oh, we'll stay with you. We'll come back to Ms. Goodman.
Okay. House Bill 1182, Carroll County Commissioners' Compensation and Benefits. This is the cross-file to the local Carroll County bill, Senate Bill 545. Increases the county commissioner salary of a Carroll County commissioner. The only issue is there was an issue with the effective date of the bill. County commissioners, that the term impacted several county commissioners, and so it was a matter of making sure that the term included each commissioner necessary. So we, on this House side, we have the correct effective date. The Senate version did not. Senate counsel is fixing that error. So the only issue before us now is a technical one that actually is not an issue because it's been addressed. So we can move forward without an amendment to cure it.
1182 has been moved and seconded as a favorable. Any objection? Seeing none, 1182 will go to the floor on 11-0 vote.
All right, House Bill 1276, Baltimore City Youth Data Hub Establishment. Say that again?
Did you skip 1208?
I don't think that, oh, okay, sorry, I don't have the new list. Let me see. I did skip 1208 unintentionally. So House Bill 1208 is before us as a second from Budget and Taxation. This is Health Occupations, Healthcare Workforce Expansion. So this bill has already been considered in Budget and Taxation, requires the Board of Nursing to use data from renewal certifications, thank you, to use data from renewal applications under the Board of Nursing to evaluate the status of the nursing workforce. Board regulations are required to create standards for providing nursing assistant training programs online for nursing assistants and medication technicians only. Geriatric nursing assistants who have been practicing without meeting all federal requirements, and this is based off of a federal waiver, can use those hours used in practice under the federal waiver to qualify for certification as a geriatric nursing assistant. The updates to those regulations have to be established by December 31st of this year. Requires the Board of Nursing to approve a nursing assistant training program within 14 days if it has approved that program already. There's several budget and tax provisions that I can explain briefly. Essentially, the budget and tax approved the provisions, established a tax credit for individuals who have been practicing during the workforce shortage and preceptorship programs, which are essentially apprenticeship programs. Back to our purview, it requires a work group to study the state healthcare apprenticeship landscape, to make recommendations and to report to the General Assembly and the Governor. Requires the Department of Health to study loan repayment for nurses and nursing workers, and to determine incentivizing nursing workers to commit to practice in underserved areas. So this portion is similar to the loan assistance repayment program that we passed a little earlier. But this one is requiring a study because movement on that portion has not been finalized in the House to establish that nursing loan assistance repayment program.
We're, we're second to B&T. They've approved the money, which is what's driving this train, but the policy is ours. Anybody have questions, discussion? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we concur with the action of budget and tax. Seeing no red lights, I assume that means affirmation. So 1208 will go unanimously to the floor, well, not to the floor, back to B&T with our approval. 1276.
House Bill 1276, Baltimore City Youth Data Hub Establishment. This bill establishes the Baltimore City Youth Data Hub for the purpose of promoting health, safety, and well-being of youth within Baltimore City. There are several differences between this House version and the version that we passed, which is Senate Bill 870. We also have amendments that are proposed by Senator Washington and approved by the Baltimore City or Baltimore delegation in general. So the House amendments that are before us alter the definition of provider by removing the ability for public, private, and quasi-public entities to contribute data to the Youth Data Hub. Requires the manager to make a request before a provider updates the hub with personally identifiable information or data. changes the definition of provider of the data by removing the City Council of Baltimore City and replacing it with Baltimore's promise, and also expanding providers of the data, those individuals who hold the data, expanding it to include other units within the mayor's office. Changes the executive committee by limiting the executive committee to the mayor, school representatives within Baltimore City, and the individuals that they select. And the House amendments remove language that state that the data hub is not subject to having data disclosed under the Open Meetings Act or the Public Information Act. And there are amendments by Senator Washington on this piece of legislation that modify those categories in various ways.
Senator Washington, we want to hear about them. Just, I have one question before we even get to it. The letter says the delegation voted House Bill and its amendment 976617/1. Oh, that is yours. Okay. No, that number was different, that threw me. Okay, sorry. Please, why don't you,
Basically, the Ways and Means sought to make amendments, and so we're basically returning the bill to the way that we had passed it with a couple of amendments, but.
just so we're clear, was this in the packet? Yes. The amendment in the voting packet,
There should be one from the,
There's only one from Washington.
I know, but that is not the right Washington amendment.
oh,
I have it in the packet.
okay,
They aren't very different.
no.
Just,
There's like one word that's different.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Foxworth?
10 is for the amendments that were updated to be proposed today. So they were the ones that were presented in the delegation.
No, I get that. I just want the committee to know that the one in your voting packet today has been updated with another one and I want to make sure we have the right one.
Right,
It's the one that's 976617/1.
that's correct. That's the
Okay,
one I'm going off of as well.
okay. I assume it's been moved by Senator Washington and seconded. Any objection to the amendment I just mentioned? The bill is amended, is before you. Any debate, discussion? Seeing none, I will assume we are 11-0 on the hub bill from Baltimore City.
And Mr. Chair, that conforms it specifically to our Senate bill.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Oh, hold on, there's a
Wait,
question.
That's not entirely true. Sorry. So
Hold on.
the, so there are certain elements that we did not adopt on Senate Bill 870 that these amendments accepted.
For some reason, Ways and Means is not moving the SB 870, so we don't have to worry about conforming
Okay,
it.
that's fine.
This is the version we want to pass.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm not
want to
gonna worry
protect
about it.
Hopefully, there's not a sponsor problem that the Ways and Means sees, your old committee. Senator Simon Ayer.
Yeah, and this is 1276, correct?
Yes, 1276.
So I read through some of that, and I noticed they're storing social security numbers, and a lot of places they, in like Board of Elections, they only store the last 4 digits. Is there any reason why they're storing the whole social security number?
I think that's a policy question. When it is entered into the hub, all of that information does have to be redacted, even though, that was included in PII, the social security number. So there are double protections for that not being disclosed to the public and not being released to individuals or attached to a person, but including that particular information as opposed to only a date of birth or only other identifying information. I think that's a policy call.
Okay. Just normally they don't store the whole thing in case they're hacked, but.
oh, but our cybersecurity is perfect now.
Amend this bill into it? No. Okay. Any objection to the Baltimore City bill? Seeing none, that will proceed with 11-0 vote. 1451, Delegate McIntosh. These are convertible bonds or whatever.
Yep, pulling it up 1 second. My computer is going crazy right now. All right, House Bill 1451, Housing and Community Development, Business Projects and the Business Development Program. Senator is correct in that this bill authorizes the Department of Housing and Community Development to issue financial assistance under several business programs in the forms of loans and convertible promissory notes. And they are able to sell equity received on these notes without Board of Public Works approval. The amendments included in your packet are sponsored by Senator Ellis on this particular issue. So the scope of the business projects that are identified within the bill apply to qualified opportunity zones and priority funding areas. Those qualified opportunity zones identified as counties that are available to receive funds under the business project program include Wacomico County, Somerset, and 2 or 3 additional counties. Senator Ellis's amendment would include Howard County, Charles County, Montgomery County, Baltimore City, and Baltimore County, as well as Prince George's County, to the definition of eligible projects, eligible opportunity zones for project funding under the Business Projects Program. So it expands the definition of opportunity zone to receive funding under the Business Projects Program. And there's another section of the amendment sponsored by Senator Ellis that we are going to redact that has since been worked out. So the only issue at play is modifying the opportunity zone eligibility.
So adding the word marketable is not being offered?
That's not
or
being
it is?
offered.
Senator?
It's not.
Had conversations with Secretary Holt and understand the bill fully. It really helps a lot of our businesses in Maryland, a tremendous economic development tool. And so I withdraw that portion with the marketable. And he explained to me in ways I didn't understand why leaving that term off would be good. And but he also supports including these other counties because all these other counties have opportunity zones.
Okay, first let's get the bill before us.
So I move it.
It's been moved, it's been seconded. The Ellis amendment, which is adding counties but not changing the language regarding marketable. Discussion on the amendment. Senator Washington.
Senator was able to work that out with the chairwoman and the secretary. And I just have a question. What are opportunity zones? And are they, and do we have a formula? How are they
So it's
defined?
It's a federal designation. And typically, they are areas of lower income census tracts that are priority funding areas for business and redevelopment. Not sure if DHCD is here to kind of clarify the formula for it. But it's a federal designation that states
So-
have to abide by.
Yeah.
Hunter Pickles, Department of Housing and Community Development. So opportunity zones are a geographic kind of carve out. It's low-income census tracts. The tax reform bill in 2017 created opportunity zones. A state could set aside up to, I believe, a quarter of its low-income census tracts for that designation. It carries with it certain tax incentives for investment in those areas to try to attract long-term capital. We have subsequently used opportunity zones as kind of another way of directing other resources into those areas to try to build on those incentives to help accelerate growth.
And thank you. So, and this is, again, I know we want to add everyone in. I just want to get, so typically more recently, the administration is focused in Western Maryland, on the shore, you know, some of the poorest districts in the state. And so, as originally formulated, just trying to understand, was it intentional that this program was to just focus on those poorest areas of the state? Or was this just a sin of omission and you intended to put everybody in?
So originally, I believe it was SB 581 from 2019.
Right.
There were a number of incentives in that package, and because of the extreme low-income areas in kind of the wings of the state, if you will, they were specifically included. When you get into kind of the central Maryland jurisdictions, because census tracts have a population basis, the census tract is smaller, so it's not as geographically expansive, and it overlaps much more with priority funding areas where we already have the ability to deploy capital. That's not to say that they overlap 100%. So this expansion would allow for some areas of the bulk of the state to have businesses that are eligible for our Neighborhood Business Works program.
And again, is there an appropriation, in other words, the difference between being spread out among a few counties versus now being spread? I just want to make sure that we're not hurting Western Maryland or the poorest areas, that's all.
No, it's a good question. Our funding for the program has increased significantly over the years. It has even increased significantly since 2019. And because the kind of central Maryland areas overlap fairly neatly with most of the population in opportunity zones, it really shouldn't dilute it at all.
Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Okay, on, Senator.
Add over negotiation with the Secretary of Department of Housing and Community Development, Holt, that fully supports this.
Oh, yeah.
They have the money, they have the resources, and so,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
And any objection to adopting the Ellis Amendment? Again, it's the top half of the page, not the bottom part. Seeing no objection, it's adopted. So the bill as amended is before us. Anybody wish to be recorded in the negative? Seeing none, that'll go.
Oh, just before I do that, so even within, because it's my own, again, I'm potentially arguing about my own county being included, so just recognize that. So even within the jurisdictions, it still has to be targeted for the lower income areas within those jurisdictions.
Senator, they are designated.
Yeah, I just
Actually, if
wanna
you go to
make
the
sure.
map, I think they have a map online that shows the areas.
Great, okay, that's all, thank
Is
you.
that right, Hunter?
Yes, sir. And to be clear, Baltimore City is entirely a priority funding area, so it's already
Yeah,
included.
I mean, we have a lot, I just, so, yeah, thanks.
You don't want to be too greedy. Yeah, Waldorf will take the money in a heartbeat, trust me. Yeah, exactly. Okay, anybody wish to be recorded in the opposition to 1451 as amended? Seeing none, 1451 is approved and go to the floor 11-0. We got about 4 more and we have about 16 minutes.
All right, House Bill 1464, Maryland Loan Assistance Repayment Program for Physicians and Physicians Assistants, Alterations. If you recall, this is the Senate cross-file of 626, which expanded the loan assistance program for physicians and physicians assistants to include part-time physicians and physicians assistants on a prorated basis. The House bill that's before us is identical almost, with the exception of a technicality that we would need to adopt to the purpose paragraph. The purpose paragraph in this House bill says physician's assistants. The Senate version does not, and so we would want to make that correction. Or actually, it's as simple as an apostrophe, if I recall correctly, in the purpose paragraph. Nothing of substance, but the error should be corrected
In the House bill?
in the House bill, in the purpose paragraph.
Okay, anybody have, first of all, any objection to putting this in front of us? Okay, seeing not, any objection to putting in the apostrophe in the appropriate place? Thank heavens.
Grammar girls.
Thank heavens, nobody objects. Okay, on the bill with the technical amendment, Anybody wish to be recorded in the negative? Seeing not, 1464 will go to the floor. 1471.
House Bill 1471, Garrett County Memorial Hospital Lease Authorization and Alterations to the Board of Governors. This is the identical cross-file to Senate Bill 978, which authorized the county commissioners in Garrett County to enter into leases on behalf of the Garrett County Memorial Hospital. Similar posture, similar issue as Senate Bill, or as House Bill 1464. There was a code error in the function paragraph that should be changed to update current law. Nothing of substance was changed.
We need to have an amendment to,
We do need to adopt an amendment for this one as well.
and again, it's a small technical
Small
amendment.
technical amendment.
Okay, it's been moved, seconded. No objection to the technical amendment that the council will prepare. Anybody object to the bill as amended? Seeing not, 1471 also will move forward. I think we're to you, Ms. Goodman.
You want me to start with easy? House Bill 291, Election Law Contested Elections. This bill, with this amendment, would be identical to Senate Bill 101 as passed by the Senate and thankfully as passed by the House. They made a change in the House. Yeah, I know. So there's an amendment, you have to adopt the amendment to put it back to its original posture.
The bill is moved by the vice chair, seconded by Senator Patterson. Any objection to adopting the one amendment?
One amendment. Oh, yeah, one amendment.
No objection to the one amendment, so the bill as amended is before you. Any objection or anybody wish to be recorded in the negative? Senator Seminary, you want to speak or just be negative? Okay. Again, being negative. So the vote, yes. This is the bill that sets numbers, at what point the state pays for it, at what point the contestant can pay for it, and at one point there's no recount. This is the bill, this was the vice chair's bill that we dealt with like in August, or it seems like August. No, it changes it.
It changes law.
It lowers the number. Well, take a quick second to explain it.
I can say that this committee, everyone on this committee voted for it on the floor, if you care.
I think I got it mixed up with another one.
Okay. Okay.
Enlightenment. Okay, okay, we're all good. Okay, then, with a small amendment, 291, which is a cross-file, it'll be recorded as 11-0 and sent to the floor. Next.
If you recall, we, yesterday on the voting list was House Bill 1030, Maryland Higher Education Commission Procedures and Operations Alterations. In your packet, it says Appropriations Committee, Senate Bill 501. I explained to you that there was amendments, and I said I would bring them to you so you could take a look. We can walk through them really quickly. And what these would do is require the commission to design and implement a unified scholarship application that meets specified criteria and requires the money in the supplemental budget to be used for this purpose. It authorizes the comptroller to disclose tax information to MHEC for purposes of verifying income eligibility for scholarship applicants. It requires the commission to update the promised scholarship regulations related to award deadlines to award scholarships as soon as practicable based on the changes to the Educational Excellence Award changes in the bill. And it has the intent language that the Office of Student Financial Assistant be a separate and independent agency in 2024. It was dropped on your desk. It has, STAG is at the top of the first page. And if you go back, it says MILA at the top of the amendments for this bill.
Let me ask a question, Ms.
Sure.
Goodman. It's intent language, uncodified, but has a specific year. So I'm trying to understand.
Well, it doesn't require them to do it. It provides no money to do it. But I think it's giving a push. That's
Okay.
what it is.
Okay. Senator,
Page 4 of 5 of the amendment, The tax information may be disclosed too, and there's a whole lot of numbers, and we get down to number 11. Senator Kagan, number 11, the Emergency Number Systems Board. Why in the world would the Emergency Number Systems Board need tax information?
I don't know, but that's existing law.
Okay, well, make a note. Make a note.
Next 911 study.
Moving on. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The key component here is to have a common application for scholarships. As I shared yesterday, the Appropriations Committee has not been very pleased with the work of the Scholarship Committee, and they are suggesting we consider breaking it off. There's been another approach of just starting over with MHEC, make it more competent, more people, and do whatever needs to be done. I'm not sure where I fall on this, but I think since it's only intent language, I'm fine because it gives us another year to talk about it and work on it. So I'm fine moving the bill. I know Appropriations spent a fair amount of time on this. So it's been moved and seconded. Discussion on the bill, no amendments, correct?
Those would be amendments adopted to this bill. These are the appropriations amendments to the Senate bill, to the Senate bill, and this would conform the House bill to the Senate bill as amended by appropriation.
Okay. Any objection to adopting the bill as amended? Seeing none, Senate Bill 501.
No,
House Bill
1030, House Bill 1030.
House Bill 1030.
Mr. Chair,
On that,
super technical amendment on this same bill. The ENSB is now called the 911 Board, renamed in law 2 years ago. Emergency Number Systems Board, that Senator Riley flagged, is now the 911 Board. So it's not even, it's
is
not
that-
accurate
Is that done by,
in law.
no, in the, when DLS does a reconciliation?
Oh, the curing and curative.
Yeah.
and-
Yes, so it's very
It was
possible
missed.
that, because we ask the Mickey Company to make those corrections when those things are changed.
Yeah, let's,
Okay.
I'll flag
Flag
it
it for
for the
Yeah.
next
Perfect.
curative bill.
okay. That's passed and sent to the floor. Next, Ms. Goodman.
House Bill 603, Harford County Board of Education, Appointment of Members, Alterations. This bill eliminates the role of the governor in appointing members of the Harford County Board of Education. Instead, the bill requires the Harford County Executive to select the appointed members of the board, subject to advice and consent of the Harford County Council by a vote of at least 5 members. In appointing members, the county executive must ensure, to the extent practicable, that the total makeup of the board reflects the gender, ethnic, and racial diversity of the county. Members appointed to the board following the 2022 election must serve for a term of 2 years until a successor is appointed and qualifies. Subsequent board members would be appointed following the 2024 presidential election and each presidential election thereafter. There are no amendments. There was opposition. We have a local letter.
Moved and seconded to move this local Harford County School Board bill forward. Any discussion, debate? Seeing none, I will record it as 11-0. And do we have one more?
We have one more.
Yes.
I know the next bill has several amendments, so I just wanted beforehand to do a vote change on HB 318, SB 479. The county environmental officers are still opposed to this, including those from my district and Montgomery County, so.
Oh, you have that? .318 and SB 479, Delegate Stein's bill. Okay, duly noted. Right, we have that? Yeah. Okay, did we finish, oh,
We have one last bill.
I know, 1208, did we, was that done and passed? Okay, please.
Okay. If you recall, House Bill 146, Education, Reportable Offenses and Student Discipline, Children with Disabilities and Reporting. There were 3 amendments, one from Delegate Atterbury, the sponsor, one from Senator Carroza and one from Senator Washington. The last we discussed with Delegate Atterbury's amendment, which changed the title, modified the information to be reported. In the report, it also modified the definition of a reportable offense to include an offense that occurred off school premises. She placed language requiring if a student has an attorney, the attorney must be present at any conference between a parent, student, and school administration, prohibiting school officials from questioning the student during that conference unless their attorney was present. And yes, I think that's it.
Let me come back to that.
Okay?
I understand they can't ask you about the incident without an attorney, but did you say they have to have an attorney in that meeting when they talk about whether the student should have any school disciplinary action?
Yes, if the student has an attorney, the attorney must be invited.
If the student has an attorney?
Correct.
Okay. Committee, we left this yesterday. There are numbers of amendments. I know Senator Washington,
It's messy, so it's just really messy. So, I mean, I would like, I don't know if there's, if it were just a report, you know, if we sort of just dealt with the report, affirm that they, I think there's a place where they affirm that they have the right to have an attorney there. I think that's fine, but we haven't solved the issue of if they don't have an attorney about the student speaking. On the one hand, so there's there, but I also understand that we want to protect the rights of a student, I guess, provide the same rights that a student would have if they were an adult being accused of, not to be able to incriminate themselves. But children aren't necessarily aware of that. So if they answer a question asked by their principal about were you there, and they disclose that they were, they could be incriminating themselves. So it's just, that issue is just very messy, and I don't know if we can resolve it.
So as we face these bills, the question is, are the students better off with an imperfect bill or no bill? In your opinion?
In my opinion, we need to absolutely reaffirm and support that they have a right to not incriminate themselves. I think that that's really important.
So that's not my question.
let me ask you a question.
Well, yes, some children are better off not, some children are better off having their right to be represented in these, here, in these encounters affirmed in law. So there's yes to that question.
Let me just, again, I don't know if we're going to resolve this.
Yeah, I don't know that we are.
It says, principal or county superintendent may not ask any question of the student related to a reportable offense unless the defense attorney. Let's say they don't ask a question, but the student says, yeah, they caught me, I was there, or I did it. I mean, can they be brought in as witnesses in the criminal case? This is beyond my purview, not being an attorney or never served a sentence on JPR.
And that's why I think it is a, yeah, I could not, I would want to, as soon as possible, assert that they have that. But I also recognize that it may be something that is not easily resolvable.
It seems that we have possibly two choices.
Yeah, so whatever.
We trim it down and send it back and try to act like crazy on Monday in a conference call or conference committee, or they can just accept it, or I guess not do anything. It's the will of the committee. I just don't feel I know enough about the implications of this personally, but I'm willing to do whatever the committee wants to do.
I think for what it's worth, it provides the student with greater protection, this language, than with it not being in there.
We appreciate that, Council. Senator Carroza, and when the bell just went off, so
It just, there's multiple amendments. There are issues that are related to JPR, and it sounds like we would be doing it on the fly. And I think this issue is too important when we're dealing with our students and what we're affecting here. So I think we should avoid the scramble.
No? Move unfavorable. Is there a second? Okay.
Are we gonna have any more voting sessions for the next 3 days?
Senator, if you could talk to Chair Atterbury and see if there's a simple fix that we can all agree to, because, anyway, you've heard. Okay. Then we're going to hold this, and we'll revisit it. We'll probably meet 2 or 3 times. Look, it may make it, it may not. It's the end of the line here, folks. So, yeah, Senator.
Very quickly, I'd like to introduce 2 of my guests in the front row, folks who are running for office as members, possible members of the House of Delegates in my newly drawn legislative district, Kim Mills from Odenton and Stu Schmidt from Crofton. So they're here to watch a really efficient committee in the General Assembly do their work. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We didn't dissuade you from pursuing this? Jeez. There are a few other times you should watch us, and you might say not anymore. Senator Simon Ayer.
I just say, Ms. Mills, Mr. Schmidt, first, thank you for your commitment to democracy. And while we may be on opposite sides on stuff, I wish you the best and thank you for running. You should know that you've got one of the most effective senators here representing you. Thank you.
Well, we don't need to vote on that, do we?
Is someone moving unfavorable? Senator Simon Ayer.
Yeah, things were moving pretty quick, so I'd like to change my green to a red for House Bill 3118 and its cross-file Senate Bill 479. Thank you.
It doesn't change the vote, that's fine. Okay, folks, there's an event later tonight after session down at the Market House downtown. And I don't know how long we'll be on the floor tomorrow. We have the overrides, but I would prefer not to vote. I'd like you to get home and have a day and a half to recoup.